Hello everybody, welcome into Rock Painting 101. If you're catching the replay, as always, feel free to comment, ask questions. I will be back through to read those later. So it's really gloomy here and I decided I wanted to paint a sun. I've had a MOSAIC sun on my to-do list probably since I did the first MOSAIC heart tutorial a while back. Now I've got this super nice flat stone to do this on, but you can do this on any stone that you have. But I'm going to show you a trick to help you gauge what size of sun that you're going to make before you start on your rock, because if you have a smaller rock or maybe one where it's going to go over the edges. So you guys know how much I like to use my handy dandy post-it notes. So all you need to do is fold a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be post-it note, I just have them around. Fold your paper in half and place it on top of your rock, halfway top to bottom. And then you're just going to take and you're going to fold your thing over the edge just to give yourself some creases, so you know when you unfold those creases, that's the size of your surface space. Okay, so you have an idea of how you're going to create your sun on your rock. Now I'm not going to draw the whole thing out again because I have already done this, but you also, I mean, with your sun you want to know how big your circle to start off is going to be, basically, more than anything else, and then you can add your rays. And I've got that over here, like magic of TV. Okay, so I know that I want my circle in the center about that size, and that's where we're going to start. So we'll make sure I'm back in the center of the screen here. I'm going to use my black post gun instead of a pencil on this stone, just because the color of this is very dark and I don't know that you'd be able to see my pencil marks. So again, referring to my little sketch here on the side, we're going to be covering most of this, so it's okay to do more of a sketch beginning to your circle if that's easier for you. I'm just going to kind of turn my rock as I go so I can also keep an eye on the edge. Okay. And then we're going to create all of our sun rays. So I like to almost make an invisible line from the far corner, and if it was to find a point here, whoop, can you see that dot? There we go. So if we can find a point there, now you're going to kind of start all the way here. You don't want to draw through the center, but then kind of to the top. Okay, that's just how I gauge mine. So kind of like that. And then I'm going to do one straight down. Yeah, this rock is really perfect for this. I got these stones back when I had done a post for Cap Couriers, and you can order these. They're actually really fun to do some special projects on. And then down here. And I always do 8. You can do however many points you want to. Whoop, see, okay, so see how all of a sudden, look at that, I'm not drawing anymore. I am drawing right on my stone. I did clean this stone. However, you can get dust in the tip of your pen. See that? I'm not even drawing anymore. If that happens, you can kind of pulse it a little bit. Just get it running. Usually you can kind of work through that little bit of dust you maybe got on there. Oh my, I really got gunked up here. Usually I try to remember to doodle. There we go, every once in a while. So I kind of just pinched the tip there too. If it ever gets really gunked up, you can take the tips out and rinse them out. Just make sure they're nice and dry before you try to paint with them, otherwise your paint will get watered down. All right, so there's our basic shape for our sun. All right, so once you've got your sun on here, we're gonna just divide each of the sections up. I don't like to have round sections when I do these mosaic styles, so I'm also going to straighten the edges of my sun through here by giving him some straight lines. I just think it looks kind of awkward. I guess that one's a weird space. There we go. And then we're gonna divide all these sections out, and I'm gonna move fairly quickly through this. I'm going to leave them on the larger size just because I don't want it to get too complicated. You can make these as big or small as you want to, but since for the sake of doing live, I don't want to give myself 1,000 things to try to color in while you guys are watching. I may not get through all of these even, so we'll do enough that you get the idea, and then I can always come back and post a picture if it's getting a little bit away from us time-wise. My children are downstairs, so you never know. That's like a if type situation. They're being very good today though. All right, so we've got the outside. And then we're gonna do some here in the middle as well. Just do a couple larger lines, and you can kind of divide those sections any way you want to. So it's pleasing to your eye. And you can always come back and add more. All right, there we go. So now we're gonna fill these in. I've got my dotting tool over here. If you don't have these, you can use lots of different stuff. Toothpicks. Getting in these kind of rocks like this style with a paintbrush to me is hard. So I prefer to use a dotting tool. And I usually just shake up my paint and work right out of my lid because I'm not blending or adding water to any of my colors. And I usually just pick one color to start with. You can really kind of scoop up paint on these, even if it's a little one, to place down. And then you can maneuver it around. And you're always going to go back and reline this style of rock at the end. So I always like to get as close and in these corners as possible. And then when you go back at the end, you can crisp up any lines you maybe got paint over the top of. But I would always rather have the paint over the top of the line than clean it up than end up with spots where you can see through to the rock. So again, you can just kind of swoop up your paint and kind of dabble it in the middle there, and then move it out to the edges. And toothpicks work great for this too. There is an artist, and that's like all she uses is toothpicks to paint her rocks. And I think that you can really get the paint loaded up and nice and thick, so it's got a really good color to it like that. You don't have to worry about your brush marks. So for these mosaic rocks, this is, if I'm not using paint pens, then I'm usually using something like this. All right, we're just gonna do 3 on this side for now. Now I have 3 different colors that I'm going to use. So I like to think about that as I'm placing down my colors. I don't like 2 of the same shade to be touching, like line to line. So you can always add more lines if you need to, if you find yourself a spot where it seems like it's not going to be possible. You can always add another line. All right, I'm going to wipe off the tip of this, just with a cheap washcloth. Put your lids back on nice and tight. All right, I've got this kind of cadmium gold yellow. It's not gold, it's yellow. The other one was glorious gold, in case anybody's wondering. So that's this one. This was the first one. Okay. And then you just go back in and, oh, I had an air bubble in that. And start filling in some of the other sections. So I know I've done some of these tutorials before, but if you haven't been following the channel long or missed them, we did hearts like this, with this mosaic look. They turned out really cute. I've done a few other ones. I know I did a Christmas tree. I can't think of any of the other ones that I did. And I'm just thinking of this now as I'm filling in this point, but I could have made it so it was alternating all 3 colors in the points, but at this looks like I'm gonna have to do every other point. So I'll make sure not to put that 3rd color in the very tip of the last one. Okay, so here's a good example. So right here, if I would use this color in this spot, I have my 3rd color left to fill in those 2 triangles, so that wouldn't work well. So I'm gonna use this color here and this color here. So you can kind of look ahead a little bit and try to plan so you don't have to add in an extra line. Now if I wasn't paying attention, which often I get carried away, and I had put this yellow here, I could add another stripe down here to make another spot. All right. Make sure you're not leaving a curve there. And I should just do one of these big ones in here. I've got it out. See, now this doesn't bother me because it's points touching, and that's going to happen, especially when you get into the center. And see here, this one would be gold. This could be the third yellow, so let's do this one here real quick. You guys, yeah, feel free to, if you have local rock painting groups, I hope that's a different enough yellow here. But yes, feel free to share these out into your groups. There's quite a lot of people always looking for inspiration. Okay, and just in case this is really close to the other yellow I have, I'm gonna do right here. We could get away with that. Does that seem different enough? This one is bright yellow, it says. I can't tell. That's, what do y'all think? You think that's different enough of a yellow? Sometimes it's hard to tell when it's wet. What do you guys think? Are those two really similar? They look pretty similar to me. I'm gonna give them a second to dry and see what else I've got down here in my yellows. I might have something lighter, or I could mix. Sorry, I'm mixing my paint over here. I'm just gonna add a bit of white to it, because that's just, I wanted three distinctly different colors. So we're just gonna lighten it up a little bit. Might even need. Yeah. That will do. Okay. So we'll get back in here. That's much better. If you're gonna do three colors, you want them to at least look like three colors. Otherwise, I could have just done it in two. But kind of had it set up this way. There we go. I love that color in there. It's perfect. So I'm just finishing up the center of the rock here. I'm just going to share a photo at the end right now. You just continue this process and then crisp up your lines with your 1M Posca pen. So I hope you enjoyed this MOSAIC Sun tutorial. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, don't forget to subscribe and give the video a thumbs up, and feel free to become a rock star over on patreon.com if you would like to watch our videos ad-free. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.